Alright guys, so I'm expecting the next move for Bitcoin in potentially 2 days. It's possible it could be a major move, and it's possible it might not be so major. The point is to pay attention to the timeline, because I do believe at that point we will have a move. Also want to show how some of these previous charts played out, as well as I was using the stock market to actually predict which way the price of Bitcoin was going to go. It is amazing how correlated both the US stock market and Bitcoin is, and I'll show you this in just a bit. Let me show you a quick clip of this video from yesterday, and I'll put a link up to it now, and there'll also be a link in the description. 9,000, depending if we go straight up or go at an angle. That is if we make it above this orange ring around 8,900. Otherwise, we'll come back down and test the support. If we break that support, we can come back down and test this this purple ring here, which potentially where my cursor's at now is 8,689. So, and also in that video, I was saying potentially what I was expecting was if we couldn't make it above this orange ring, that we bounce back up and forth. The support trend line right here, we bounce back and forth between it until we either broke up and found this ring, hit this ring as resistance, or potentially came down and hit this ring as support. So I also covered some other charts for targets. Do check out this video if you haven't seen it. This is the actual chart, so you can see it's weird, that price I gave, I was just randomly picking a point, but actually that was the point where it came down and hit it. You can see it wicked down below it, but it came right back up, and when the next candle opened was right at 8,687, so it was off by like $3. But you can see we did find support, we did drop below it, we moved back up, found support, and we pushed up, and currently we're just, again, getting rejected to this orange ring. And I'm going to show you these rings on a. I'm going to copy them and paste another chart so you can get an idea how well price has been respecting these fib circles. This is another chart I referenced in that video. This is, and again guys, this is the Bitstamp ring chart. This is the Kraken chart. I'd mentioned that we were respecting this ring as resistance. We found support on it twice, so it made sense if we came back down we find support on it again. You can see we found support, resistance, we pushed up. This was another chart I referenced. This is the Bybit chart. I was telling people that this red line in this fib channel would potentially be strong support. This blue line would also be support, but the red line would be stronger support. You can see we did wick right down to this blue line and then came back up, found support right here on this red line. I made a post about this. So all three of these charts, each one of these targets actually hit at the same time and did end up being support for us to push back up, which was actually pretty cool. Let me go through again. I have a lot of charts open. I'm gonna go back and forth on these. This chart here I did also reference. This is either the Bitstamp A or Bitstamp B chart. You can see we're finding support on this trend line, and we broke below it. Now we're finding resistance. So this would correlate with this orange ring right here. So I'm going to give you targets upside. I'm going to show you this on a larger scale. Let me show you what I'm expecting as far as a potential move in the next 2 days. So you'll notice I have a trend line here. Let me move these out of the way. So you can see that we're kind of finding support right here. We found support on this ring. Again, this is the Binance chart. You see we're finding support on this ring right here. We found support 1, 2, 3 times. Found support on it again. So it's possible that we're in a descending triangle. This is a bearish pattern. It does not mean it can't break to the upside. It just means more likely it breaks to the downside than the upside. It's also possible, you can see we've been finding support and resistance on this this blue line in this fib channel. We were finding a lot of support and resistance. We found support on it again. So it could be a falling wedge, and that's why I had this little point right here to connect it. So again, if it's a falling wedge, that's a little more bullish. Typically falling wedges break to the upside more than they break to the downside, but this is less about direction and just more about timing. I will give you some possible targets to the upside. There are some gaps I'm going to cover as well, but again, if we continue sideways and bouncing back up and forth in this structure, we could hit it sooner, but in the center of this structure here is roughly 2 days when you make contact with this ring. So how this will work, and you can see how well price is respecting this orange ring in this fib circle. We found a lot of resistance. We pushed back up from resistance. We're also respecting the lines in this fib channel. So the Binance chart would be a great chart also for drop targets. You see, as soon as we pushed above this green line in this fib channel, we pushed straight up. We got topped out right at this line in this fib channel. So if we do push up, you know, watch for a potential a target of right here around 9,243. We'll cover targets to the upside, but again, price is respecting this orange ring, so it just makes sense when we hit this ring, we'll potentially ride up it. If we continue to ride up it and we break above this point, you can expect us to get a pump. We could get pumps, you know, move sideways, get another pump, just like the capitulation ring. I'll show you that in a bit. You know, we can hit it, move up, go sideways, hit it, move up, and keep in mind, if you hit the inside of a ring at the top that you're respecting, it will become resistance to potentially push you back down, and then when you cross, you can have a drop. So these can play out different ways, but I do expect if we stay before the ring, we'll continue to push up. If we cross, then I expect us to have a drop. Again, use this chart, always look left, look at lines that were previously a lot of strong support and resistance. And you know, if you drop down, and usually how I play these is, you know, if you drop down, even if you drop down below, I usually buy in because it'll come back up and at least move up a little bit before coming back down. That's how I play these as they drop. And again, I'm more confident buying at trend lines where I know that there's been a lot of support and resistance, like this blue one right here and this red one, as well as this green one here. So again, just pay attention to that. Again, cross, drop. If we stay before, we can have a pump, and that's in about 2 days. Let's see. This is the this is my Bitcoin CME futures chart. So you can see that we have some gaps. We just recently filled a gap. We had a gap between 9,060 and 8,275. You can see we did come, we wicked way above it and it came back down, but you can see we did fill this gap right here at 9,060. We do have a gap above us at, and the top of this gap is 10,220, so it is possible in the next 2 days, you know, that ring could push us up to fill this gap. We do have a gap above it at 11,815. You see that gap right here. I do not see us going that high. I think if we do push up, you know, it's possible that, you know, we might come up and test our previous high of around 10,655. I don't see us going above that. So again, we could come up, fill this gap, wick up above it, and then come back down. So I would pay attention to that target of 10,220. And guys, we do have a gap down here. It's really small, but there's a gap between 3,595 and 3,570. You can zoom in on it so you can see it. Let me go to the smaller time frame. So you can see this gap right here that hasn't been filled yet. And see prices jumped from right here to right here, and we haven't had a wick to come down to fill it. So, you know, we could go up and fill that gap above, and then, you know, if we do have another major drop, like I think is very likely, and then we could come down and fill this gap. But, you know, just pay attention to that as a target. Let me see here. This is the capitulation cycle chart. You can see that, and I told you in some previous videos, I said if we pushed above, and you can see we got a heck of a pump here. As soon as we pushed above this orange ring, I said watch to get resistance at this this red ring here, because price has been respecting this red fib circle for a while going back. And you can see we pushed up, we almost made it right to it and got rejected, started pushing down. And we're crossing this ring, guys. These are my capitulation rings. This one, when we cross it, you know, it was a series of drops going down. And as soon as we approached it, you see we rode up it. And this is what I was talking about on this chart. As soon as we cross it, we can have a drop, or we can continue to ride up it until we cross it and then have a drop. Let me see if I can find this chart again. So, and again, that's what I'm saying. You can keep riding up this ring, and then when you cross it, have a drop. So pay attention to that. Don't forget the halving's coming up. I still believe that this is just sucking people in. Don't forget that the hash rate is going to be cut, so these miners, is going to be less profitable for them. So potentially, and a lot of these miners are going to have to shut down their equipment and sell the Bitcoin they have, which is going to cause the price to come down also. So pay attention to that. This, like I said, this is the halving. We are, you know, we're crossing this ring. It is possible they were already topped out. And again, I'm going to get into the stock market, because I actually use the stock market to predict the price move. I had made a tweet here. Let me see if I can find this tweet. So right here, this was 20 hours ago. I said before anyone starts getting bullish on Bitcoin, keep checking the New York Stock Exchange pre-market trading data, and I'll have a link for this in the description as well. By the time I posted this, Dow was down negative 243 points. At one point, it was down 330, and you can see. Let me go to this chart. You know, at that time when I made that post, price was up here, and so you can actually play this when the stock market's closed overnight. You know, go look at the market, the trading data for futures to see whether they're betting on the price to go down or up. They were betting on it to go down. It was down, you know, negative 330. So that told me it was more likely that price was going to go down. But what's crazy is right here, this bottom wick, guys. I have stocks as well as Bitcoin charts, but when and guys, I'll show you this chart and how it played out. But you can see that this line, this trend line right here, this is resistance, support, resistance. We had support and resistance. When the stock market opened, it was right here. It dropped right down to this point, and I actually have a chart. This is the Bitstamp chart. It's one of the Bitstamp A or B charts. But you can see when we pushed down, we found perfect support right here on this blue line. Again, guys, always reference different charts. This is a great chart for smaller targets on the way down. So like if we came down, you could expect possibly get a bounce here, push back up, come back down, find support. Now, if you have a major drop, you might want to be cautious and wait till it stops. If it stops just below a line or right on a line, you can expect it to potentially move up a bit. You know, it could always come back down more. It's always a gamble. But this is usually how I play it on the way down. I look for points where there's, you know, this green line here has a lot of support and resistance, so I'd be more comfortable buying at this point to catch a bounce than I would, let's say, at this blue line here where there wasn't much support and resistance. But always go back left, because you can see there was a lot of support and resistance here. But what I'm getting at, guys, is, you know, pre-market trading, they were betting on the price to go down, and Bitcoin went down. Right here it found support. Coincidentally, that is right where it bottomed out on this trend line and then started moving back up. So I bought in right at this point and rode it up. I'm out now because I don't expect us to get above this orange ring. If we do, it's not worth it to me because I do believe we'll get rejected at this purple ring. So currently we're at the time recording this video, we're at 8,864. So if we push up, the highest I see us going is 8,924 before getting rejected and coming back down. We do have a line up here that was support and resistance. This is at 9,000, so watch that point as well. But we are respecting this purple fib circle. Let me show you, so let me copy this and I'll show you these rings so you can see how price is respecting them. So this is the capitulation ring, which I've showed you plenty of times. Let me paste that in here. So you can see this is where when we cross it, we had a series of drops coming down. We rode up it, we crossed, came down a bit, pushed up, had a major drop. We hit it as support, moving up it. This is the next ring out. I covered some of this in that previous video. Let's see, here's that orange ring. So you can see how price has been respecting this, and this is also good for giving you a potential upside target. So you can see price is respecting this really well. We were finding support and resistance, dropped down to this ring as resistance, dropped down this as support, working within all of these rings. Also found support here. And guys, so I tell you, we tend to go from ring to ring. You see we moved from this ring, found resistance at this one, moved up to this ring as resistance. So if we have a pump, we could pump as high as 10,624. If we're out here more, it could be potentially 10,181. But do keep in mind that gap's up there around 10,200. So if we're going to push up, you know, it's likely that it potentially will get filled before we come down. So again, I just wanted to show you how these rings are set up and how well price is respecting them. And you can see that I have this purple fib circle here. In a previous video, I showed how I created it. I'll just create it again just to show you. So basically what it did was, and I have tutorials where I teach you how to create these fib channel charts and these fib circles. I will be adding some more tutorials soon. I've got clients calling me and I got some projects I got to knock out, but I will be knocking those out soon, XRP and Bitcoin. But I want to show you how I created this. So basically I just went from, you go from intersecting points where rings intersect other rings. You see I came from this point down to, actually it was from this point, I came from right here to right here. Let me make this purple so it matches. Well, hold on. Okay, there we go. Sorry, sometimes it takes a while to, but basically that's how I created this fib circle. The great thing is once you have a fib circle that's placed correctly, you can use that fib circle to create additional fib circles. So basically I'm just coming from where this orange ring intersects this yellow ring, and this orange ring intersects this yellow ring, and that's how I got this this purple fib circle that price has been respecting. Resistance, resistance, support, 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 and now we're coming up as resistance. And again, guys, you can see the stock market is going up right now. It's moving up, and I'm pretty sure we'll get rejected. You can, after time recording this video, after we'll find out, but I'm pretty sure if you go back and check the Dow Jones after I have this uploaded, we're going to get topped out at 23,763. If we push above that, your next target is potentially 24,208. But as you can see, the price, the Dow Jones is going up. Again, this is my next resistance level here at 23,763. But you can see, the price, the Bitcoin's following suit. Stock market's going up, and so is Bitcoin. So I do expect the Dow Jones to get topped out at 23,000. So I expect us to get topped out at this ring at 8,929, around that area. So again, just remember what I'm saying. Use trading data overnight to know if it's in the positive, then you can expect Bitcoin will go up overnight or in the morning. And then, while the stock market's, open, you can actually use that to help trade to know which way price is going to go. This is, let me see here. Again, these are different charts. I suggest you load up all the different charts to get potential support and resistance levels. Again, I covered that in previous videos if you want to watch them. I do want to show you, this was a chart I put out. Actually, well, I had this chart created long before, but I actually I published it on February 19th. You can see this fib circle here. So people that followed me, I was calling for the stock market to crash back in December, and I was also calling for Bitcoin to crash. You can see this yellow fib circle. This is all the same fib circle here. At this ring, this is where we capitulated from 6K down to 3K. This is the next ring out. This is where we capitulated from 10K, came down to 7,200 area. And you can see as soon as we crossed, let me zoom in here. As soon as we crossed this ring, we had another drop, brought us down to 6,522. So it only made sense. As soon as we crossed this this yellow ring right here, we'd have another drop. And you can see how this played out. As soon as we crossed it, we came down, and it pushed back up to here. This is the Dow Jones. I published this on January 7th. I had videos back in December 2019 where I was calling for the stock market to crash in late February. I'll put a link to that in the description. And the reason I was expecting that is because every time we crossed a blue ring and a white ring, it sent price down to support. And the blue rings are pushing us down, but when you cross a blue ring and a white ring, you come all the way down to support. You see that happen here as well. We crossed a blue ring and a white ring, brought us down to support. So that's why I was expecting when we crossed this blue ring and this white ring, we'd come down to support. And you see I had a support level here at 27,445 and a support level here at 26,000. If I hit play, it hit my targets. We came down, we found resistance here. We came back down, came back up as support and resistance. It dropped a lot more than I expected. We came all the way down here, found support right here on this, I think that's a ring. But again, this is what I'm talking about. This is that trend line that we're respecting right now. Found support and resistance, found support. We found support on it, started pushing back up. So, guys, I do have stocks. I have a lot of stocks. I'm adding more. I'll be adding more stocks to it soon. But, do check out. I do have the Dow Jones chart if you want to check that out. And again, we'll see how far this goes. I don't expect us to get above this point. Again, that's 23,763, which will coincide, which I think will get topped out at this ring if we do push higher. If we do, we might come back down. But guys, I do think I covered everything. If you are subscribed to the website, I don't mention this often, but I do have a Discord. If you go to the website and you go to the Access Charts page, at the very bottom there's a Discord invite link. Click on that. That'll get you invited to the Discord. And then if you already part of the Discord, you can just click on this link to just access the Discord. You don't have to click this one again. So I did want to point that out, guys. If you do want to access my charts, that link will be in the description. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, I will have that in the description as well. But guys, that's it until the next video, and do pay attention in the next 2 days when we hit this ring again. This is Binance chart. Well guys, that's it until the next video.